Severity, IP&E, Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurants. Always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Now on Prime Time, we bring you the very latest on surveillance cases for coronavirus on Guam. Plus, new criteria has been released for the coronavirus, and we speak with one local physician who believes there's a chance COVID-19 is already here. And as a result of coronavirus, travel restrictions have been put into place for Metro Manila and the Department of Defense.
Good evening. Guam, in our top story tonight, all 4 people tested on Guam for the COVID-19 virus have been cleared. A release from the Department of Public Health and Social Services says a total of 4 surveillance cases for COVID-19 were tested this week. The 4th sample was received and also tested on Friday, with all 4 samples testing negative for SARS-CoV-2. That's the virus that causes the COVID-19 illness, the release said. Adelup Press Secretary Crystal Paco San Augustine said that includes the 3rd local surveillance case, a baby 9 months old with recent travel. Thursday morning, KUAM reported a head registered nurse from the American Medical Center confirmed an elderly couple with recent travel to Japan were the latest 2 persons under investigation on Guam. Adelup, however, in their media releases are describing the individuals as surveillance cases. Well, a local doctor says new criteria released for COVID-19 on Guam will mean more testing for the virus, but he also says there's a chance COVID-19 is already on island. We just don't know it yet. Here's with Guam conducting testing for COVID-19 for the first time 2 days ago, Dr. Hoa Nguyen of American Medical Center tells KUAM there's a chance the island already has coronavirus cases, but since we haven't been testing, we probably just don't know it.
That's a possibility, like we see we have our island have so much tourists coming in and out, and I know they do the quarantine, the temperature monitor at the airport, but like the study showed, it's really they don't really catch anyone yet with the temperature. I mean, there's no case that they catch people with a fever coming into the country. So more like we have it. Like I said, most 80% of this patient either have very low symptoms like cough and cold that we miss. So this possibility is here.
Public Health released new testing criteria late yesterday. Dr. Nguyen said the new criteria are more relaxed than Center for Disease Control parameters, but he said they should lead to more COVID-19 testing on island. There are 2 categories of criteria for testing. The first is for COVID-19 persons under investigation, or PUI. It only applies to hospitalized patients with fever, signs of lower respiratory illness, and a history of travel from affected geographic areas. COVID-19 PUIs also have to have fever with acute lower respiratory illness without another ailment that could cause those symptoms. Persons who have symptoms of the virus and have had close contact with a lab-confirmed COVID-19 patient also fall under the COVID-19 PUI criteria. The second category of criteria, surveillance cases.
Public health come with a term called person under surveillance. Okay, that's the one that I think is kind of unique to Guam. That's where the guideline is in the gray area, where people don't really fit into the CDC strict guideline. That the physician deemed necessary to run the test to make sure that the patient does not have coronavirus. Just like in the state, as we find out, a lot of patient does not have any history of traveling to those high-risk areas.
Dr. Nguyen said more testing for COVID-19 needs to be done to avoid exposing vulnerable populations to the virus, those with existing ailments that compromise their immune systems.
The key here is to catch all this low-symptom patient so we can kind of isolate them, quarantine them, so they does not pass on to the general population in Guam. If you have a mild symptom, you go come across someone that have heart disease, diabetes, cholesterol, they're going to get in trouble, most likely.
Dr. Nguyen said he hopes communication between the government and privately run clinics improves. We asked him if doctors from those clinics, often the first stop for anyone who thinks they might need to be tested for COVID-19, had a seat at the table to help come up with the new criteria.
I'm not quite sure. Yesterday at the meeting with the governor, Public Health have a meeting, they say, with the physician, but I know that AMC, SDA, and FHP, we were not in that group of meeting to come up with guidelines. Which is we're probably the three largest critics in Guam, but we don't have the input of those.
You can watch Dr. Nguyen's full interview on our KUAM News Facebook and YouTube pages. Effective Monday, the Department of Education will be suspending all agency and school-sponsored employee and student travel until further notice. GDOE is also requiring a 14-day absence for students and employees who are returning from countries with confirmed cases of COVID-19. The agency is also still considering the closure of one or more schools for the short or long term, depending on guidance from public health experts. For now, GDOE is continuing to reinforce good hygiene and increasing cleaning at school sites and central offices. As DOE continues its planning for COVID-19, which could include school closures if needed, Speaker Tina Munia Barnes is requesting the agency engage in discussions to continue feeding school children. The Speaker says there are students who rely on their school lunch as the only meal of the day. Now, based on the Speaker's research, she says USDA has approved waivers for states to continue providing free lunches during school closures. Some states have even opened 2-hour drive-through operations at schools to allow for parents to pick up breakfast and lunches for their kids, while others have been able to deliver lunches using school buses to distribution sites. The Speaker is hoping for talks to begin with school cafeterias, DPW, as well as mayors to ensure there's a mechanism to keep the kids fed. And while officials continue to stress that Guam remains coronavirus-free, they're still preparing for the worst. The Guam National Guard Civil Support Team is providing decontamination training to GMH staff who will be working at the skilled nursing unit. The SNU has been identified as the isolation facility for any confirmed cases of COVID-19. First Sergeant Anthony Cruz is one of the trainers.
For them to be able to have the knowledge and awareness for decontamination techniques and procedures that they may possibly find useful and applicable to what they do to ensure that we limit the spread of COVID-19.
More decontamination training will be held at the Guard Readiness Center for other health professionals and first responders through the weekend. Well, the entire Metro Manila area, also known as the National Capital Region in the Philippines, has been shut down to domestic travel, with President Rodrigo Duterte announcing last night that a community quarantine will be in effect from March 15th to April 14th for the more than 12 million residents of the city in an effort to contain the spread of COVID-19. President Duterte declared that travel from within the country to Metro Manila will not be allowed for 1 month. Schools will be closed. Mass gatherings are strictly prohibited. Residents have been told to stay indoors and only leave their homes if absolutely necessary. And while international travelers will still be allowed entry to Manila, local health insurance company Select Care has advised patients that treatment at Philippine hospitals may not be an immediate option. The Philippine government has issued a public health notice requiring a 14-day self-quarantine for all international arrivals. Well, travel restrictions went into effect today for the Department of Defense, military, and civilian personnel and their families. According to the DoD directive, travel will cease for the next 2 months through areas the CDC has determined as a level 3 danger. This includes all forms of official travel, including permanent change of station, temporary duty, and government-funded leave. For military personnel, this restriction also includes personal leave and other non-official travel. Additionally, official travel is restricted for family members of DoD uniformed and civilian personnel to level 2 designated locations. Well, the Archdiocese of Agutnia is also taking precautions in light of the coronavirus pandemic. Archbishop Michael Burns issued mandatory protocols for all churches and parishioners. Aside from keeping churches clean and sanitized, other directives include the removal of all songbooks and missalettes, suspending all pastoral care visits to the sick or homebound unless it's for the anointing of the sick. The exchange of the sign of peace will be omitted from Mass, and the cultural practice of kissing the priest's hand is suspended at this time. If you feel more comfortable participating in Catholic Mass from home, weekly Sunday Mass is broadcasted weekly on KUAM TV 8 and TV 11 at 9:30 in the morning. You can also watch the Mass streaming on our Facebook page. Well, Evan Daniel Montville Cohen was scheduled to appear for a detention hearing to request for his release from custody. However, due to health concerns, he wasn't present. Cohen was picked up by the feds just days ago and faces aggravated identity theft charges. Defense counsel Curtis Vandeveld says he has limited representation of Cohen because the government is hiding certain information.
At this point in time, I lack sufficient disclosure of information. The government wants to hide from the defense and the defendant certain information about which they keep making accusations, and Therefore, I don't have the information to be able to evaluate what the realistic outcome will be.
A continued detention hearing was scheduled for Wednesday, March 18th. Attorney Vandeveld said he also doesn't know the basis of the arguments for Cohen's release.
At this point, I don't know, because of the fact that I don't know what the circumstances concerning his health is, and that is something which is under medical investigation, and until that medical investigation is complete and there are certain other events that may occur, I am unable to determine what would be the strategy at the future detention hearing.
Accused of aggravated identity theft, Evan Montville Cohen was scheduled to appear in the district court today, but because of an illness, he wasn't able to make it. But as Adriana Cotero reports, his attorney made the case for an entirely different issue outside the federal courthouse.
Guam may not have any confirmed cases of the coronavirus, but attorney Curtis Vandeveld walked out of district court with his protective mask on, stating that U.S. government is taking the worldwide pandemic too carelessly.
It seems that the United States government has failed the people that they represent again, and it's a bipartisan failure. And so, you know, we lack sufficient, consistent clarity of information from the federal government. We have the president on one hand saying everybody who wants a test can get one, and then we have everyone else in his administration saying that's not true.
Attorney Vandeveld walked out of Guam Memorial Hospital on Thursday with an entirely new outlook after hearing about the 2 surveillance cases and the recent cancellations of major athletic tournaments and closures of colleges and universities across the country.
If the private sector sees this as so substantial that they're willing to forego billions of dollars of revenues, this must be something more significant than our government is informing us about. And frankly, they're doing a very pathetic job of advising the people.
Now that Guam has surveillance cases, Vandeveld's argument is for the government of Guam to get serious.
We have a lot of people coming in and a lot of packages and stuff from off island that could have virus, and we're not doing anything to protect the people of Guam from the possibility of the pandemic affecting people within our shores.
Further, Attorney Vandeveld cited an article from an Italian medical representative that says we are all underestimating the severity of the problem because the long-term effects are being overlooked.
We're only looking at the issue of deaths, but we're not looking at the percentage of people who are affected with long-term debilitating circumstances as a result of the coronavirus. There is a high percentage of people who are sustaining lung injury and will be permanently disabled as a result of it. So it's broader than just the percentage of death. In Italy, it's 6%.
When a court date was set for one of his client's federal cases, Vandeveld concluded the hearing with telling the court that all depends on what's occurring with the coronavirus. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
In other news this afternoon, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero announced the appointment of 3 new cabinet members to the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration. John Birch has been appointed to lead the Department of Parks and Recreation as its new director. Robert Camacho will join the Department of Corrections as its deputy. And Josie O'Malley will join the Department of Public Health and Social Services as its deputy director of social services. Well, stick around for more news here on Primetime. Stay tuned. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Try double filet sandwich for double the flavor. Just in time for Lent for a limited time. Served all day.
Half the day, I'm in the club. Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
It's a celebration at Cars Plus Guam. During our Jeep celebration event, receive up to $2,000 off on the all-new 2020 Jeep Gladiator, the most capable off-road mid-size pickup truck. Customize your Gladiator the way you want it. Call 477-7807 or visit our website and get pre-approved online at carsplusguam.com today.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. All electronic gaming machines are now illegal, and any licenses that have been issued by the Department of Revenue and Taxation should be revoked. That's today's ruling by Judge Arthur Barcinas, granting a motion for summary judgment filed last year by Attorney General Ivan Camacho. It sought to invalidate the gaming regulations because they were submitted by Rev and Tax to the legislature without complying with the administrative adjudication law. The case has been in litigation since 2013, when then AG Lenny Rapadas filed a lawsuit challenging a law that grandfathered in all of the machines that were in operation at the time. In a news release, Camacho said the decision affirms the AG's office's longstanding position that gambling devices cannot and should not be licensed in Guam. He adds that DRT must follow our laws and the court's decision and revoke any gaming licenses and not reissue or renew any gaming licenses. Well, a public hearing on a bill that would bring choice back to Gov Guam employees and retirees' health insurance is set for Monday. Here's more in this story. Bill 255 looks to bring back the choice for Gov Guam employees and retirees. Senator Peter Terlahi and Speaker Tina Munya Barnes' measure would allow Gov Guam's negotiating team to select the top two health insurance provider bids instead of allowing one company to win the bid. Senator Terlahi has said he experienced issues with sole provider Aetna, and he's not alone. Speaker Barnes also says she's gotten a litany of complaints from Aetna subscribers. May Duarte is one of several Aetna subscribers who have had issues with their coverage in the Philippines. Even Senator Terlahi said he had problems with the letter of authorization. They were told everything would be taken care of in the PI, but Duarte says that was far from the truth.
When we got to the PI, they needed, the Philippine office needed the LOA from Guam. So I was very adamant as far as not leaving the office. I was insisting that we get a hold of Guam and we get the LOA from Guam because we're here and I have a procedure that needs to be done. Now, there were some patients that were not as fortunate as I was. Previous healthcare providers, once you get the LOA from Guam, you just go to the clinic and show up with your LOA. They have everything there.
An informational hearing with Aetna fell a little short on the information end when representatives from the company told senators they couldn't answer questions since any questions would have to be run by the stateside-based company's bosses.
You have premiums already been paid to Aetna. So why is it that the delay on the services or information?
Things have been so bad that even the Mayor's Council of Guam passed a resolution asking senators to allow more than one health insurance provider to service Gov Guam retirees and employees. And while many have had their unfair share of problems with Aetna, Duarte, like the mayors and Senator Terlahi, says she just wants the freedom to have a choice.
I like choice, and that's just my personal preference. I like choice. I'm an active Gov Guam employee. We've always had the option.
The public hearing for Bill 255 is scheduled for Monday at 10 a.m. at the Guam Congress Hall. The bill has been referred to Speaker Barnes' committee, so if you'd like to submit testimony, you can email it to speakerbarnes@guamlegislature.org. In other news, the hospital continues to push back against Take Care Insurance and their $12 million payment dispute. In a news release today, GMH Administrator Lillian Posada says the company is being disingenuous in its assertion that the hospital needs to submit documentation so it can be paid. The hospital said that it had offered to provide the documents, but Take Care has refused to accept them. Posada said the back and forth reflects the frustration the hospital has experienced for over a year as it's tried to resolve Take Care's, quote, alarming and increasing payables. The insurer is claiming a credit of $6 million from disputed payments made in 2017. The hospital says Take Care unilaterally diverted monies and applied those amounts to its purported credit, and so GMH was forced to issue a demand letter. Well, 17-year-old Haven Gale French requests to be released on personal recognizance because he does not have the $20,000 cash bail amount. Earlier this month, French was arrested after a beatdown that occurred at a bus stop in Dedido. He was the only Teton High School student charged as an adult with second and third degree felony counts of aggravated assault, both of the special allegation of vulnerable victim, according to court documents. Defense counsel Bill Bischoff argues French is not a flight risk because he lives with his mother and she's anxious to get him home. Further, defense argues the teenager does not have a prior history of violence and that the alleged victim was not seriously injured. French is confined at the Department of Youth Affairs. Well, worn and faded registration stickers caught the eye of cops in the early morning hours of March 12th, leading to the arrest of Eric Wenceslao. Court documents state the 20-year-old told police his name was Mike Carriaga and said he didn't have a driver's license or any other ID. Inside his vehicle, police found drug-related items, including capped syringes, 2 cut plastic straws, and plastic bags with a crystal substance that later tested presumptive positive for ice. Wenceslao was charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, expired registration, and operating a vehicle without a valid license. Well, 35-year-old Naomi Nicole Taisiken Omapes didn't have a driver's license, registration, or insurance for her car when police pulled her over for failing to signal on March 11th. Court document states she then consented to a vehicle search where police discovered drug-related items, including an ice pipe with white residue and a bag with a crystalline substance. Both items tested presumptive positive for meth. Omapes told police she didn't know how the ice got inside the vehicle because she hadn't smoked it in 2 weeks. Police also noted the vehicle plates were fraudulent, which Omapes said were already mounted on when she purchased the car from a friend. She was charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, vehicle without identification, expired registration, no mandatory insurance, and operating a vehicle without a valid license. Well, fiscal year 2021 budget hearings continue at the legislature. Now, this morning, it was the Guam Community College's turn to present its spending plan, with GCC President Mary Okada talking about some of the school's top initiatives this year, including transportation boot camps designed to support the ship repair industry.
Team GCC designed a program that would identify an employer that hired all of the boot camp completers. This innovative solution to workforce development has stimulated our approach to strengthening partnerships with business industry by providing qualified and skilled individuals that are needed to spur economic activity on the island.
GCC earned praise for Budget Chairman Joe St. Augustine for its money-saving renewable energy initiative. The school is seeking a budget for next fiscal year of $19.5 million, a very slight increase over the current fiscal year. Well, coming up, Dave Delgado has the Athlete of the Week. Keep it where you got it.
Half a day, I'm Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Over the next few months, 2020 Census personnel will be coming to your villages. They will be visiting your homes, collecting information crucial to growing our economy and improving our healthcare, education, public safety, and so much more. Please join me in participating in the 2020 Census of Guam, because together we can shape our future for a brighter tomorrow.
All right, this week's Direct Own Athlete of the Week, 2 of JFK's basketball players, Roger Samina and Jeremiah Kentucky. Man, first year with the team, and JFK going deep into the playoffs and getting to this year's championship. But heading into the season, what was the expectation like for this year's team?
I mean, it's my first year, and my team had a good start for preseason. And then we started good for the season too, but when we challenged the crew, it was kind of a good game, but we kind of got lost from there.
Yeah, you guys lost to Ukudu twice in the regular season. Then you face them in the championship game at home. Big crowd. What was the game plan heading into that game?
We were just observing those 2 games that we lost, and we just work on it during practice. And that's how we gained, like, we're observing a lot of individual players, and we just got it right there.
Big third quarter for you. Came out hitting shots from the outside. Game high 28 points in that championship game. Did you feel like that was the time for you to take over, or did you feel that your shots were just falling?
Yeah, I feel like it was the time for us to take over, because, man, in the beginning we started off slow, and then we needed to start it off fast and strong.
And who are some of the players that contributed? You guys were able to close out in that fourth quarter, but a lot of the seniors stepped up really big for you guys.
Because mostly our big men, like Ralph Manala, really did like a lot of weaves and posts and all those free banks. Really helped us a lot.
I remember, yeah.
Or the junior.
Yeah.
It was just all ball movement that really got us good. Coach Ray, he helped us with all the mistakes that we did, and he taught us to be better during that game.
And how does it feel to make history, winning the first ever ESA boys high school basketball championship?
It feels really amazing. I mean, to me, yeah, it feels really amazing, and I wasn't expecting that at all.
Another big factor is you guys doing it for the FSM community. I mean, you give a lot of these young kids something to look up to.
Because like these young generation, that's where they get their ball skills from us. From mostly outside too. Yeah.
Who do you guys want to donate the check to?
I'm gonna donate mine to Make-A-Wish Foundation.
In tennis news, the 2020 Calvo Select Care Grand Prix wrapped up this past weekend with the junior singles event. The tournament gave young players match play experience for the upcoming North Pacific Regional Championship to be held in June. The tournament featured boys and girls U12 to U18 and co-ed U10. Marshall Zhang took the boys U18 Open Championship. Kohei Sakurai won the boys U16 and U14 Open. Boys U12 title went to Kotaro Roche. Girls U16, U18 Open Division champ was Fremont Gibson. Girls U14 went to Layla Marcado, and the girls U12 champion was Jaylee Usita Lee. In national news, the NCAA followed suit as the NBA made the move to suspend their season until further notice. The men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments came to an abrupt end less than a month before championship teams were to be crowned.
Well, when we came this morning, we intended to play today, and then events started happening with concerns about players and contracting the virus. That's happening in the NBA, and I think that changed the dialogue and where we were headed with it. Had a call with my other A5 colleagues in the other major conferences, and had a call with our athletics directors and presidents, and we came to the conclusion that the best thing to do and the most prudent thing to do and the safest thing to do would be to end the tournament.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist. Over 20 years of experience.
High five to the graduates who got their online degree on their way to work. High five to the gamers scoring faster with their global game. High five to the outdoor moviegoers streaming 8K films without buffers. High five to your fitness goals that you can keep track online. And high five to everyone who knows that you don't have to leave Island to experience life in Ultra. High five to the 5th generation, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra on Guam's only 5G network, Docomo Pacific. Better together.
And before we close out the news tonight, you know the deal. It's our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Okay, my friends, it's Friday the 13th, and your birthday shout-outs are being read to you by a guy named Jason. So if you're into cheesy 80s scary movies, that's pretty cool. Nonetheless, happy birthday to Crystal Arceo, who celebrates Happer Forever 21. God bless you, our princess, from the family who says they love you. And Janaya Joe Sarmiento has a birthday today, and your shout-out is coming from Mom, Dad, Gade, and Scotty with all their love. Also, happy belated birthday wishes going out to Rowan Matanonia, born on the 12th. Happy birthday number 2 from Mom, Dad, brothers, grandparents, and the rest of your extended familia. Also, happy birthday to my love, June, who was also born on the 12th. So, June, happy birthday to you. Elmore Neptor Jr. is born on the 11th, and happy 10th birthday, son. Enjoy your special day. Say mommy, daddy, and sissy Mia. And lastly, happy birthday to Vanessa Kugumdag, born also on the 11th. Happy birthday to my dearest little sister from Sherry and the kiddo. Hope each and every one of you had an awesome birthday.
And remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online at KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and your birth date. Well, it's that time of the week where we announce the winner of a yummy Cold Stone Creamery cake. And our winner for this week, Tomas P. Torres, whose birthday was celebrated on March 7th. Congratulations, Tomas. A rep will be contacting you on how you can redeem your birthday cake. And that's going to do it for us here on Primetime. Thanks for watching. Good night. Guahusi Chris. Adios.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Visit GESIGuam.com or call 647-8111 for more details on how we can help your business save money.
Half a day, everybody. Welcome to KUAM News Extra. I'm Jason Salas. Thank you for streaming us or watching us. Up, up, and away is the theme of our first interview, because women in aviation, a very important topic, and it is alive and well. There are many, many women throughout the world who are making contributions to the technology, the commercial practice, serving in the military, being aviators. There are a lot of different jobs you can have in that, and we were talking to two people who know a lot about that topic. We have Perla Cordero. Half a day, Perla.
Half a day, Jason. Thank you so much for having us here today.
And thank you for the organization, that you lead, celebrating women in aviation. I would say probably ignorantly, if you asked a bunch of people out in the street, they would say, name a female aviator, and they say, well, okay, well, there's Amelia Earhart, duh.
That's always the first answer.
And I know a couple stewardesses and stuff like that, but you know, we have amazing young women.
Yes.
And women of all ages that are making contributions. We have Sophie Ferrer.
Yes.
Okay. A licensed pilot, we must say, and we can tell by your unit badge right there, because thank you for coming in your flight suit. You are still in high school.
Yes, I am.
That is incredible. How long have you been flying?
I've been flying for a year now.
Okay. Now, your licensure, what types of aircraft are you trained and licensed to fly?
Single engine aircraft, so like Cessna 172s.
So some
Small
people would
planes.
say, okay, just like single, that's one more engine than I'm licensed to do. So obviously this is a passion of yours. What got you into flying or fly? Did one day when you were a kid you just like looked at aircraft or looked at birds and be like, you know, I want to do that. That fascinates me.
That's actually what happened.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would be the kid in the car that would open the window whenever planes would fly up and above us. So I would yell at my mom, oh my God, look, there's a plane.
Mm-hmm.
And I just get so excited. So when I saw that I had an opportunity to fly, I just took it.
And this is an amazing inspiration for all of you young men and women, you know, even people that have always wanted the joy, the freedom of flight. you know, to be like Sophie, like have an interest, have a passion,
Absolutely,
and put
Jason.
in the work.
Yes.
That is the key.
Yes.
That is the key part. What was it like to get your license? I'm sure there were like tests and there was studying to do.
Yeah. So
Plus,
usually,
you're a high school kid.
Yeah. I don't think age makes that much of a difference.
But you got a full load.
Yeah, I do. The program that I was in actually expedited the process, so I got my license in 8 weeks instead of a whole year or 2 semesters.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah. So
ultimately, what would your goal? Because this is your lifelong dream, and you know you're living it right now. What do you see yourself doing in the coming years, as far as what types of other aircraft would you like to fly?
well, I would join the Air Force and fly fighter jets. That's my dream.
Yeah. What's your favorite kind of fighter?
My favorite plane is a U-2 Dragon Lady. That's ultimately what I want to fly.
Nice.
On the edge of space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have aspirations to maybe be an astronaut one of these days?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, you can count on KUAM. We're going to put in a good word for you. NASA, give Sophie a look. She's got the passion, she's got the tools, she's got the talent, and we can vouch for her. And KUAM, we keep our word. So, man,
thank you.
That is amazing. What is it like, Perla, to have young women like Sophie, such an inspiration to one and all, to just do what she's doing?
Are you kidding me, Jason? I'm
at a loss for words.
So when we started the organization, the goal was to reach out to young ones like Sophie, and I had all these people just sending me people who maybe have been interested in her. Of course, her name came up, and I was super excited because she's a JFK student here on the island of Guam, already pursued her private pilot's license. I said, let's find her. Well, she found us. Well, her mom found us. And we were so honored to have her join in our membership as well. And she's a highlight. She's a highlight because she's the reason we want to create a platform, a solid foundation for the organization here in our island community. She's the reason we're going to continue to create this awareness so that we can get the support of the community and continue to move forward with the organization itself. Yeah, we're super honored, and when I reached out to her, she's super busy and doesn't have a lot of time to entertain me. So I have to constantly reach out and say, Sophie, please, get back to me, let me know. I hope we didn't lose you. And she's like, no, I'm so sorry, Perla, but I've just been busy with school and, things like that. And I completely understand, but I was super glad. And I know I say a lot of the words super, but it's just such an exciting organization to be a part of because aviation nowadays, it's such a known industry as far as travel. And I just, I say this a lot because it really is. But when it comes down to education and career and advancing in that area, as far as in that level, it's not a very well known industry.
I was going to say, because I come from the tech world, right? And it's a known factor for the last couple of years. There's all this nonsense and blah, blah, blah about, women will say, it's a boys' club. They don't give us enough opportunities. And I've always said the best programmers I've ever known have been women.
Yes.
Like they are motivated, they are highly trained, they do things the right way, they write amazing code. So I have always looked up to female programmers. What is the environment like, in the aviation industry or in aeronautics? Aerospace, like for opportunities for women?
It's a very diverse group, really. It really is.
That's good.
We have everything aviation that you could possibly think of. Like I had an interview with, forgive me if I say it wrong, but Lieutenant Colonel Suzanne McLaughlin of the U.S. Air Force. She's in the maintenance division as well as, and so they will also be joining us at our launch, which will be happening March 13. And also another individual who's in the, bomb squadron. I don't have all their names on me right now, but just to listen to their, to their titles and the background of what these women do, and also their journey and how they got there, it's amazing, Jason. It really is, and it almost becomes emotional for me because we never had that opportunity or the foundation here on our island. And we're in the year 2020.
Exactly.
What is going on?
I'll tell you what, we were running out of time, but I want to give Sophie the last final words because, we would love to cover the rest of your career and see once you're flying super stratospheric, you can make it from New York City to Heathrow in London and, they can do that in an hour and a half and what now takes a 5-hour flight. What are some of your final thoughts and to inspire others about what you've been able to do and how they can live their dreams?
Well, I think what everybody should know is that even if it looks impossible, it's still possible. Even when the road looks tough, that's what makes it worth it, And I don't know, dreams are always achievable if you do your best and you just keep pushing at it. Nothing comes easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, but you earned this. And I was going to say, it's
She
one thing.
sure did.
It's one thing to say to have the dream. That's the first step. But you actually, like I said, you put in the work, you made it happen, and you did things the right way. So
She sure did.
we are in awe of you, and we wish you all the best. And we know you're going to do great things no matter what you do.
Thank you.
And fly the friendly skies.
Awesome.
I think that's copyrighted, but I think
I think you're fine. I think
yeah,
you're fine.
Hopefully they'll do that. So we got to go. So thank you very much, ladies.
Right. Thank
we're
you,
back after
Jason.
this.
Thank you.
Hafa na ano si Judy Flores, Tauto Inalahan. I came here in 1957 when I was a child. My parents were hired as contract teachers, and I was immersed in the village life. I learned to speak Chamorro because everyone spoke Chamorro then. We do have